Welcome everyone today to our panel. Everyone who's watching, thank you all for tuning in. My name is Brian Barsana. I'm Assistant Curator and Manager of Publications here at the Museum of Contemporary Art, Los Angeles. Before we begin our program today, I just want to point out that Virtual MoCA is presented by the MoCA Thrive Fund, which is courtesy of Shar Schreier. So today's program is a panel with Tania Bruguera and other Cuban activists. I'm just going to read a short introduction so that everyone's aware of sort of the events that we're going to talk about today. And then we're going to go into questions with some of our activists, okay? Thank you all for joining once again. On the 27th of November, 2020, more than 300 artists, intellectuals, and Cuban citizens presented themselves at the Ministry of Culture to demand the government follow through on their supposed commitment to freedom and civil rights. This protest came as a result of police violence exerted the previous day against members of the San Isidro movement, an activist group who over the course of the past few years has been vocal in demanding greater freedom of expression in Cuba. Using social media as a tool to bring awareness to their cause, they have sparked renewed attention and urgency in calling for an end to government censorship and repression against all artists, intellectuals, and activists in Cuba. This community adopted the name 27N, and together have staged peaceful protests asking for freedom of artistic expression in the face of government repression. Before we begin again, I'd just like to thank the organizers, everyone who's helped me out in Cuba. Thank you to Brian Dang, who's hosting the program, and Eva Zeta. And I'm going to introduce our panelists today. This is in no particular order, but Camila Ramirez Lobón. Camila Ramirez Lobón is a visual artist who graduated in 2019 from the Instituto Superior de Arte, and she is a coordinator of INSTAR, the Institute of Activism Hannah Arendt. Her work focuses on narration and illustration as a social memory and the political body as a contrast to the totalitarian imaginary. Tania Bruguera. Tania Bruguera was born in Havana in 1968. She received a BFA in Fine Art from Escuela de Arte San Alejandro Havana in 1987, an MFA in Painting from the Instituto Superior de Arte Havana in 1992, and an MFA in Performance from the School of Art Institute of Chicago in 2001. Bruguera choreographs performances that question the possibility of political representation and attempt to collapse the distance between art and life, eroding institutionalized injustice and prejudicial hierarchies in the process. Junior Garcia is a playwright, actor, theater director, screenwriter, and audiovisual technician. He is the founder of the Trébol Theater in 2004, where many of his works have had their premiere. His texts have been published in Cuba, the United States, Argentina, the Netherlands, and Germany. He also runs the El Enjambre podcast. Catherine Bisquet is a writer who graduated from the University of Havana. Her poetry books include Something is Rotting Here from 2014 and Nuclear City Mon Amour 2020. She is one of the curators and organizers of the 2018 Havana Biennial. She has published poetry, interviews, and reporting in Vice, El Estornudo, Hyperallergic, and Hypermedia. She is also the co-creator of the Cuban Film in Quarantine column, which seeks to investigate and rescue Cuban film. So once again, welcome to our panelists. One quick program note is that some of the panelists will be speaking in English, some of them will be speaking in Spanish. Those that are speaking Spanish, I will be doing live translation of their responses to some prompts and questions. So just bear with us on that. But we've come up with a series of questions today that we're going to go through that will sort of like give us an idea of what's been happening in Cuba, what's it like to be an artist in Cuba at the moment, given the political repression that's happening right now. So we're going to start off. I'm going to ask the questions in English and in Spanish, so both our English-speaking and Spanish-speaking panelists can participate. Can you guys explain what has transpired in terms of the San Isidro movement? ¿Pueden explicarle al público qué ha sucedido en cuanto al movimiento San Isidro? ¿Cuáles son sus raíces? ¿Cómo se desenvolvió? Okay, while we wait for Catherine, Junior's going to explain to us a little bit about the 27N movement.
Bueno, en Cuba todos estamos muy al tanto de lo que estaba pasando con el movimiento San Isidro.
Okay, everybody in Cuba has been following very closely what's happening with San Isidro.
En las redes sociales, muchos artistas, incluso algunos muy reconocidos, ya habían manifestado su solidaridad con el movimiento y su rechazo ante el acoso que estaban sufriendo por parte de la policía, de las autoridades.
Okay, a lot of artists were already in support of the movement and using social media to sort of give people on the outside a vision of what was happening and what kind of repression. Catherine, ¿nos escuchas?
Bueno, antes que todo, gracias al MOCA por la invitación y por estar al tanto de los problemas políticos culturales de Cuba.
Okay. Catherine,
Antes que
thank you.
todo, bueno, quisiera aclarar.
Catherine was just interested in saying thank you to Mocha for having.
Antes que todo, quisiera aclarar que.
Sigue.
Ya. Antes que todo quisiera aclarar que lo que ocurrió en noviembre del 2020 en la sede del Movimiento San Isidro excede al propio Movimiento San Isidro.
Okay. Catherine
Los que estábamos allí acuartelados.
Camila, digo, Catherine, espera un
Los
momento.
que estábamos allí. Espera.
Déjame traducir. Catherine wanted to point out that what happened on the 27th of November is something that came out of the San Isidro movement, was a movement that was started by artists. And okay, sigue.
Ajá, los que estábamos allí acuartelados, o sea, los que nos reunimos, fuimos personas muy diversas, no todas pertenecientes al movimiento San Isidro.
Okay. Those that collected on the 27th of November were not all members of San Isidro. They were a diverse group of people.
Y nos reunimos allí, o sea, básicamente en protesta y en solidaridad por una causa, que fue la detención y la prisión del rapero y activista Denis Solis.
Okay. The reason they collected that day on the 27th of November in front of the Minister of Culture was in protest and solidarity with the rapper, I'm sorry, ¿cuál era el nombre del rapero?
Denis Solis.
Denis Solis.
Denis Solis. Okay.
El movimiento San Isidro surge en el año 2018 a raíz de la campaña de un grupo de artistas por la derogación del decreto 349.
Okay, the San Isidro movement was brought by a group of artists who were complaining against the Decreto 319, which, okay.
A grandes rasgos, inmovilidad del arte cubano y cuestionaba la legitimidad de lo que es o no ser artista en Cuba.
It was an article that called into question the legitimacy of what it meant to be an artist in Cuba, and this is what they were protesting at that point.
Y a raíz, por supuesto, de esta campaña se nuclean un grupo de artistas y activistas y se funda este movimiento que básicamente es un movimiento cultural.
So given that, the artists and activists had come together to respond to this government decree, and that's where the movement of the San Isidro movement, that's where the movement begins in 2018.
Yeah. Por tanto, los que nos reunimos en ese mes de noviembre, los que nos acuartelamos en la sede del Movimiento San Isidro, fuimos un grupo de personas bastante diferentes, un grupo muy ecuménico y plural, pero todos poseíamos una misma línea de pensamiento que era la defensa por los derechos humanos.
Right. Those that came together to protest this on November 27th were a much more ecumenical and egalitarian group that were all came together, although they were from very different artistic backgrounds and some not all artistic backgrounds. They were brought together by protest against this movement or against these decrees. I'm sorry.
Estos derechos humanos que son violados constantemente por el poder político cubano y por lo tanto estamos allí reunidos ya por el hartazgo de tantas violaciones e impunidad por parte del poder político.
The protest was very much against, in favor of political speech and in against the high degree of repression that was happening against human rights at the time.
Estábamos allí por nuestra incapacidad para acallar la violencia y para acallar la injusticia. Y eso hizo que fuéramos muchos los que nos identificáramos con eso, ¿no?
Their response was very much that they felt an incapacity or unable to stop the violence and injustice that was happening, and it drove them.
Y a través de la evidencia pública de esa violencia policial fue lo que desencadenó y lo que desembocó a esa manifestación frente al Ministerio de Cultura el
The result,
27 de noviembre, lo que hoy con...
yeah. During that manifestation on 27th, the police violence that was enacted and the repression really unleashed another level of protest, another level of unhappiness that gave birth to really what's been happening in the last few months.
Lo que sucedió en San Isidro fue esa inspiración para muchos artistas cubanos y muchas personas de la sociedad civil a manifestarse, ¿no? Públicamente, y fue lo que sucedió ese 27 de noviembre y es lo que llamamos ahora como 27N.
Right. So really the spark or the root of these current protests was that San Isidro movement, that it began with the artists really who were protesting the repression, and that it has grown since then to include this, to embrace this sort of like 27N moniker, which embraces much more many different kinds of people. Okay. All right.
Sí, yo creo que Junior, que fue una de las personas que convocó a esta manifestación frente al ministerio, puede hablarnos un poco de lo sucedido allí. Okay. Y bueno, seguir hablando y comentando aquí.
Okay.
Muchas gracias.
Gracias, Catherine. Catherine is saying that Junior was one of the people who organized the protest on the 27th of November in front of the Ministry of Culture. So we're going to hear from Junior now. Junior, por favor, ¿nos puede escribir qué ocurrió el día 27 de noviembre y cómo ocurrieron los eventos? So I'm asking Junior, what actually happened on the 27th of November, which is the day that the large protest happened in front of the Ministry of Culture?
Bueno, el día anterior sucedió algo y es que tumbaron las redes sociales, o sea, el jueves 26 de noviembre tumban las redes sociales alrededor de las 8:30 de la noche.
Okay. So the day before, the government had knocked down all social networks. You couldn't access social networks on the 26th.
Yo me encontraba en el teatro porque teníamos función ese día del último estreno nuestro, que se llama Hembra, y cuando vimos que habían tumbado las redes sociales, inmediatamente supimos que estaba relacionado directamente con el movimiento San Isidro.
Right, so he was at the theater when this happened, and given they knew that the knocking down or the disabling of the social networks was a direct result of the San Isidro movement, which is the artist movement that had been growing in popularity.
Después de las 9 de la noche, cuando retornan las redes sociales y nos enteramos de lo sucedido, o sea, de que el gobierno había entrado por la fuerza a la sede del movimiento San Isidro usando la excusa del COVID-19, supimos que teníamos que tomar una decisión.
Right. So when the internet came back on around 9 p.m. that evening, they had found out that the government or the police had gone into the headquarters of the Movimiento San Isidro movement, and that's when they knew that they had to do something the following day.
Así que a la salida del teatro, alrededor de 4 o 5 amigos, incluyendo las actrices, algunos amigos que también habían ido a la función, decidimos que al día siguiente, a las 11 de la mañana, íbamos a estar en las puertas del Ministerio de Cultura para protestar.
Right. So right there outside of the theater with the actors and other screenwriters that he was with, they decided that the next day at 11 a.m. they would present themselves at the Ministry of Culture to demand an answer.
Creamos un grupo de WhatsApp y tratamos de ser muy discretos. Dijimos, no avisen a demasiadas personas, avísenle cada uno a 4 o 5 amigos más para que no se enteren de esto y no impidan que lleguemos hasta la puerta del ministerio.
Right. So using WhatsApp, it sort of like virally grew. Each person let 4 or 5 other people know, but the idea was not to create a sort of mass advertisement for what was going to happen so that they could avoid government repression at that point.
Al día siguiente nos encontramos una hora antes, no en el ministerio, sino cerca, en el Teatro Trianón, que está como a 2 cuadras del ministerio, y luego a las 11 en punto decidimos llegar hasta las puertas del Ministerio de Cultura.
Right, so they assembled the next day a few blocks away from the Ministry of Culture at another theater, and then made their way towards the Ministry of Culture that day.
Y a las 11 en punto decidimos pedir que nos atendiera el ministro. Nos atendió una asesora, nos dijo que el ministro no estaba, que se encontraba en una teleconferencia y que no nos iba a recibir. Así que decidimos decirle que esperaríamos frente al ministerio hasta que el ministro pudiera recibir.
Right. So when they did approach the Ministry of Culture and asked to be let in to be granted an audience with the actual minister himself, they were told that the minister couldn't received them, that he was on teleconference, and they decided that they would wait there all day in front of the building for him.
Entonces lo publicamos, hasta ese minuto no habíamos hecho pública la presencia nuestra frente al ministerio. Cuando descubrimos que el ministro no tenía intenciones de recibirnos, porque estaban buscando justificaciones para que él no nos recibiera, decidimos subirlo a nuestras redes sociales, o sea, decir que estábamos allí en aquel lugar, y a los pocos minutos comenzaron a llegar muchas más personas.
Right. So when they knew that the Minister of Culture was just creating excuses that they would never see him, they decided to start letting it be public that they had arranged there, that had sort of formed there that day. And at that point, once it reached social networks, the crowd in front of the Ministry of Culture just grew and grew and grew.
Debo aclarar que había en toda la comunidad artística cubana, había un sentimiento de molestia. Había sido un año muy difícil y un año donde la censura había tenido un protagonismo, digamos, un poco más fuerte que en años anteriores.
Right. The level of frustration this in 2020, last year, among artists was extremely high. The level of censorship and repression was at an all-time high, and that this was starting to boil over.
El año comenzó, por ejemplo, con la censura de un documental en la muestra de cine joven. Después expulsaron a un miembro de la Unión de Escritores y Artistas de Cuba, de Camagüey, por escribirle una carta al presidente. Lo expulsaron de esta organización. Habían personas que estaban reguladas, o sea, que no podían salir del país sin ninguna causa legal, simplemente porque el gobierno no los quería autorizar a salir, y muchísimas cosas más.
The kind of repression that was happening, there was a censorship of a documentary. There had expelled a writer from the country for writing a letter to the president. There was basically various forms of repression that were happening, and they were reaching an all-time high.
Y lo que estaba sucediendo con el movimiento San Isidro era como la gota que desbordaba el vaso, porque además de todo el acoso que tenían contra ellos, de todo lo que se decía a modo de difamación en los medios oficiales, digamos, en las redes sociales que sabemos que son oficiales del gobierno, además había vuelto una cosa terrible de Cuba, como son los actos de república.
Right. So the San Isidro movement was sort of like the straw that broke the camel's back when the police entered the repression level. The government had already been doing a ton of defamation of the artist, accusing them of things that actually weren't happening. And it sort of became the tipping point.
Por eso no nos sorprendió que a las pocas, digamos, a las 2 horas de haber publicado que estábamos allí en las redes sociales, comenzaran a aparecer 50, 60, 70, más de 100 personas, y también la prensa internacional.
A ver, sorry, es que entró Julio ahora y quería introducirle, pero bueno. Por favor, Junior, ¿puedes repetir lo que acabas de decir?
Sí. Que por eso no nos sorprendió, es decir, por esa acumulación de insatisfacciones que había, sobre todo en el medio artístico. O sea, hay insatisfacciones en todo el país, pero en el medio artístico particularmente había mucha insatisfacción. Y no nos sorprendió que a las pocas horas de anunciar en redes sociales que estábamos allí, se sumaran más de 100 personas a acompañarnos en las primeras horas de la protesta.
So really, the artist community was the nucleus of the dissatisfaction that was happening against the government. And it was no surprise that only a few hours after assembling at the Ministry of Culture that many, many, many people, over 100, had come to aid the cause.
Tampoco faltaron, digamos, los represores, es decir, inmediatamente oficiales de la seguridad y también agentes de la policía uniformados, algunos que pertenecen a la policía y otros que pertenecen al ejército, inmediatamente comenzaron a llenar las calles, o sea, las 2 calles que están al lado del Ministerio de Cultura.
Okay, so almost immediately, government and state repression began. Both police and army members started filling the street next to the Ministry of Culture.
Algunas patrullas incluso pasaban entre nosotros con cámaras, pasaban muy lento entre nosotros con cámaras grabando toda la situación. Imagino que haciendo un conteo de las personas que estábamos allí y viendo quiénes eran los que estaban allí.
Okay, so even patrols car would come into the crowds with cameras, looking over the entire crowd, writing down names, making sure that, and counting how many people were there so that they could later arrest them or harass them.
Cuando ya sobrepasamos el centenar de personas que muchos no nos conocíamos entre nosotros, decidimos que había que buscarle un poco de orden a la demanda. Habían tres objetivos fundamentales. Uno, definir cuáles eran nuestras demandas concretas,
Okay, vamos a empezar.
pedir en qué...
Vamos a
Sí.
So after about 100, more than 100 people were getting there, they decided that there needed to create some sort of like organizational structure to these people, and they decided to come up with three demands. The first of which, Junior, repíteme la primera demanda.
La primera era, primero, ponernos de acuerdo entre todos cuáles eran el grupo de demandas que nos representaban a todos en aquella protesta frente al Ministerio de Cultura.
Right. The first thing they had to do was figure out what was the first demand that they needed that would encapsulate everyone there. What were they all asking for? Okay, la segunda cosa.
Lo segundo es de darse el diálogo que estamos exigiendo, quienes representarían aquel grupo de más de 100 personas, digamos, que en las primeras horas ya estaban allí. ¿Quiénes lo representarían? ¿Con quién? O sea, ¿quién sería nuestro interlocutor? ¿Y en qué lugar se haría ese diálogo de ser posible?
Right. So these aren't the demands. This is what the organizing of the group. So they decided that they needed to pick a series of representatives to speak with the Minister of Culture if he ever did appear, that they needed a sort of representative body that could speak to the government.
El viceministro Fernando Rojas me llamó a mí por teléfono porque como tengo un grupo de teatro, él además es el presidente de Artes Escénicas en Cuba, tenía mi número y decidió llamarme para ver de qué manera podíamos empezar una negociación con ellos para llevar a cabo el diálogo.
The vice minister then called Junior because he had already known him because the vice minister oversees the theater, and they had began a series to negotiate what a dialogue could look like.
En la primera llamada que me hace, me pide que subamos solo tres personas que él había reconocido que estaban dentro del grupo y yo me negué diciendo que 3 personas era imposible que representaran al más de un centenar de artistas que estaban allí frente al ministerio. Así que le dije que la negociación no era entre él y yo, sino que yo tendría que consultar con el grupo todas las cosas que él me estuviera diciendo al teléfono.
Right. So the minister asked that only 3 people represent the group, and they responded saying that there was no way that 3 people could represent the demands of the large group of artists that were outside.
Así que comenzó un largo proceso donde por primera vez, creo yo, ejercimos la democracia en plena calle. Cada decisión que se tomó fue a mano alzada entre los que estaban allí y elegimos cuáles eran nuestras demandas y quiénes serían nuestros representantes en el caso de que no pudiéramos entrar todos a un lugar a tener esa conversación.
Right. So they decided that this really felt like a moment where, since the dialogue was opening up for the first time of sort of like democracy was possible, or a democratic organization of the group, and together they sort of self-organized and started this negotiation with the government.
El tiempo siguió pasando.
Sorry.
El tiempo siguió pasando y siguió aumentando el grupo, es decir, llegamos a casi 300 personas concentradas en aquel lugar sin que tuviéramos un acuerdo entre las dos partes de cómo sería esa famosa conversación, esa posible conversación.
Right. So the group kept growing and growing and growing without necessarily a real sense of what that conversation or what that negotiation could be with the government.
Algunas personas dentro de los 300 que estábamos allí también quizás no estaban tan a tono con la protesta pacífica y todo el tiempo tuvimos que tratar de mantener la calma para que aquello no se saliera de control y no dejara de ser una protesta pacífica, aunque firme.
Right. Among the 300 people that were there were many who perhaps didn't believe in peaceful protest and wanted sort of a stronger reaction to what was happening. However, that was one of the challenges of the group, was sort of like suppressing the more violent version of what it could be.
También nos llegaban rumores de que 2 calles lejos de allí estaban llegando guaguas repletas de personas que son las famosas brigadas de respuesta rápida en Cuba, que son personas de civil a las que llevan para reprimir violentamente en el caso de que se dé la orden de una represión.
Right. And they were hearing reports at the time while this is happening that there were buses filled of civil guards who were on their way to the Ministry of Culture that were, these guards are infamous for violent repression of protest.
Realmente teníamos el temor de que cuando cayera la noche se diera la orden de que la respuesta contra nosotros fuera violenta. Temíamos algunos eso.
Right. They feared that when nightfall happened and they were less visible to the public, that was the point that they would call in the civil guard and begin violent repression.
Y algo que de alguna manera nos dio un poco de aliento fue que comenzaran a llegar personas bien reconocidas dentro de la cultura cubana, como por ejemplo el cineasta Fernando Pérez, y la presencia de él allí y de otros artistas de renombre que fueron a acompañarnos, nos dio de alguna manera la tranquilidad de que quizás teniendo aquellas figuras allí y teniendo a la prensa internacional grabándolo todo, quizás no habría una respuesta violenta contra nosotros.
Right. One of the positive things that was happening was that there was starting to be recognized cultural figures as part of this group that were starting to arrive. The Fernando Perez included, and the press was there as well. So it was sort of giving them faith or hope, rather, not faith, hope that that would stave off the violent repression.
Al final de la negociación, que duró varias horas, se acordó que 30 personas elegidas por nosotros entrarían al Ministerio de Cultura a hablar, en este caso.
Okay, it was decided after hours of negotiation that 30 people would go into the Ministry of Culture to negotiate with the minister.
Y el último punto que Fernando me pidió unos minutos antes de entrar al Ministerio de Cultura fue que eliminara a una persona de los 30.
And the last request was to eliminate one person from the group of 30.
Esa persona era Tania Bruguera.
Oh, and that person was to eliminate Tanya from that group of 30.
Y le dije que algo como eso ni siquiera lo iba a consultar con el grupo. O sea, que la respuesta automáticamente era no, porque Tania, como el resto de los 30, habían sido elegidos por la masa, por las 300 personas que estaban allí, y ella, como cualquiera de nosotros, tenía legítimo derecho a entrar. Así que esa última negociación de muchas no se aceptó.
Right. So they immediately rejected the idea that Tanya couldn't be part of the group of 30 that was going to go in, because it was a democratic elected group of representatives, and they felt that all of them that were equally valid, that none of them could be taken out, and that she, as a Cuban citizen, had the right to be inside the Ministry of Culture negotiating.
Así que después de 12 horas plantados en aquel lugar, que fue un ejercicio, bueno, fue un ejercicio de muchas cosas que nunca habíamos probado. En primer lugar, ir voluntariamente tantas personas a un mismo lugar a protestar. Eso
Right.
era algo que no había ocurrido de esa manera en la historia reciente de Cuba.
Right. So in Cuba's modern history, there hasn't been a situation where there's a self-organized group of people that come together in those numbers sort of sporadically and quickly. So it's the first time that it really happens in a very long time in Cuba, and it's a sort of positive development.
Lo otro fue lograr unirnos personas muy diversas. Habían artistas independientes, habían artistas que trabajan con la institución, habían personas un poco más a favor del gobierno, habían opositores al gobierno, y lograr que un grupo tan diverso lograra unirse en demandas concretas y en demandas que nos representaban a todos, era algo que para mí tampoco tenía precedentes en la historia reciente.
Right. Something else that was without precedent in modern Cuban history is a really diverse group of people coming together who might have, although they have different sort of like aims within the, for their different aims, they came together unified to create this sort of protest.
Y bueno, lo más importante fue, a pesar de esa diversidad y a pesar de un grupo tan numeroso, mantener la paz en aquel lugar y que nuestra protesta se concentrara en poemas, canciones y aplausos, sin que eso le quitara nada de firmeza a lo que estábamos exigiendo.
Right. And of course, it was important that it be a peaceful protest, that the kind of protest where there were songs, there were poems, but that none of it be sort of watered down, that the protests continue to be levied, but that they were not sort of like, they were continuing to be peaceful. Okay.
Y finalmente entramos todos, incluyendo a Tania Bruguera.
Okay, and in the end, they all entered on the 30th and began the negotiation. So quiero pasar, I want to go to the next question. Quiero pasar la otra pregunta. Desde ese día, ¿qué represión han sentido ustedes del gobierno? Since that day on the 27th, what kind of repression? I know that some of you have had, algunos de ustedes han tenido represión, some of you have been feeling that repression. Can you explain?
Sí. Bueno, lo primero para entender cómo funciona la represión en Cuba, que hay que tener en cuenta es que Cuba es un sistema totalitario en el que desde hace 60 años se han coartado los derechos ciudadanos más elementales, ¿no?
Okay, so the first thing that we need to understand is that for those of you who don't know, we know that Cuba is a totalitarian government, and over the course of the last 60 years, repression is sort of constant.
Sí, en Cuba sobre todo la represión tiene un componente psicológico muy fuerte, ¿no? A veces no se evidencia en hechos violentos, en una represión brutal que también existe, más física, pero sí existe.
Right. What has to be understood is that repression doesn't always take the form of violence. It's more of a psychological repression that is happening all the time and is more subtle, but yet is omnipresent.
O sea, básicamente todo ciudadano cubano desde que nace es adoctrinado por la ideología única del Partido Comunista y se le enseña que el hecho de disentir de las políticas del gobierno, que el hecho de cuestionar al Estado conlleva un riesgo, ¿no?
Right. Since birth, Cuban citizens are led to believe that they're indoctrinated into the government system, and that any protest or any sort of speech against the government will be punished.
A risk. Yeah. Sí,
Erased.
sería, o sea, es castigado. Entonces, sobre la base de eso, es muy difícil porque, por otra parte, en Cuba no están legalizados, o sea, no es legal el derecho de la libre asociación, de la libre expresión, o existen mecanismos legales que por supuesto lo impiden por la protección de las políticas del gobierno, ¿no? O sea, disentir es convertirse, creo, como decía Reinaldo Arenas, en una no persona, en alguien excluido y marginado de la sociedad.
Right. So, and the cost of actually dissent is becoming a sort of like non-person, is becoming a marginalized person, and that's always the fear, or that's always a possibility.
Y bueno, básicamente, y fue lo que llevó a lo que sucedió finalmente el 27N, cualquier tipo de posicionamiento independiente en Cuba es reprimido. El movimiento San Isidro, por ejemplo, fue precisamente a esta huelga de hambre como consecuencia de años, desde que fueron fundados, de constante represión y de constante censura.
Okay, let's break it down. So, voy a explicar un poco qué pasó con San Isidro primero. So the rapper that we mentioned at the beginning of the program, he was, the reason that they were protesting in solidarity with him was because he was on a hunger strike as well. So what Camila is saying is basically that this is a sort of like a series of events that led to this. A ver, repítemelo otra vez, Camila, perdón. A ver si puedes mantener las oraciones un poquito más pequeñas.
Claro, perdón. Lo que te decía es nada eso, o sea, que el hecho que llevó a los miembros de San Isidro y a las personas que estaban en la sede del movimiento San Isidro a una huelga de hambre fue precisamente que han sufrido años de constante hostigamiento por parte de la seguridad del Estado.
Right. It's not basically what Camila is saying is not that this is something that happened all of a sudden. This is the effect of many, many, many years of repression that has sort of culminated now.
Y esa represión se manifiesta de muchas maneras. Cuando públicamente te colocas en una posición frontal contra el Estado.
Right, and it sort of manifests, the repression manifests in different ways when you put yourself in front of the state or leave yourself vulnerable to the state.
Automáticamente te conviertes en un enemigo del Estado. Y de hecho, la seguridad del Estado cubano te atiende personalmente y interviene en tu vida, ¿no? En tu vida cotidiana.
And so as soon as you do that, the state acts directly and personally to you to start harassing you.
O sea, esto se traduce en constantes acosos, en detenciones arbitrarias, en interrogatorios, en amenazas sobre todo a tu familia.
So it varies from harassment to unwarranted detentions, They will threaten your family as well, call and threaten your family. It takes various forms.
Las personas pueden ser expulsadas de sus centros laborales, de los centros académicos donde estudian, y de pronto la represión se ramifica fundamentalmente a un nivel psicológico, porque bueno, interfiere emocionalmente con tu vida. De hecho, una amenaza muy al uso es la de ir contra la familia, ¿no? Que tu familia también y que las personas que te apoyan o que te son allegadas estén en riesgo.
Right. So one of the things that happen is that you can be expelled from work or from school immediately, and the psychological and emotional toll that it takes of always having that fear of you is only augmented when they bring your family into the picture, and that they would harass your family as well, not only you, that everyone that you associate with can become a target for this.
Después del 27 de noviembre, de hecho, muchas de las personas involucradas todos los huelguistas de San Isidro y muchos de los que estuvimos frente al Ministerio de Cultura protestando, pues estuvimos por días de arresto, de privación ilegal de libertad dentro de nuestras casas.
Okay, so those of them that were there that day that are part of the 27N movement were experiencing this repression. They were unable to leave their homes for some time after the repression. I know Tanya had cop cars outside of her car, outside of her house 24/7. So there was a visible police presence there.
Sí, nosotras, por ejemplo, estuvimos 13 días con patrullas y agentes de la seguridad del Estado fuera de la casa y nos impedían salir, básicamente.
So for 13 days, she had police cars outside of her house that would prevent her from leaving if she tried to leave.
Sí, prohibición ilegal de la
y luego muchas de las personas, que además son personas que no se mueven tanto en estos espacios independientes, son personas que trabajan con la institución, también recibieron amenazas, recibieron llamadas por parte de la seguridad del Estado. Las líneas telefónicas de todos o de muchos fueron cortadas, que es una práctica muy común también ahora, impedirte la conexión a internet para que no puedas comunicar ni denunciar lo que te está sucediendo.
Right. So part of it, one of the things that they do is they will shut off your telephone and shut off your internet. So it's basically silencing you and cutting you off from the rest of the world, really.
Y en este estado, digamos, de constante presión, ¿no? De constante asfixia de tus derechos, ¿no? Lo más positivo que creo que sucedió con el 27N es que se nuclearon muchas personas y que por primera vez una parte de la sociedad cubana entendió cómo unirse, ¿no? Cómo asociarse y cómo manifestarse por sus derechos, pasando por encima precisamente de esos miedos y de esos miedos al que ya está estigmatizado y reconocido y es difamado por el Estado por ser un opositor o por ser una persona que disiente de sus políticas.
Right. So the best thing that came out of this movement is that it sort of provided a way that people could organize in Cuba, which had not been happening either. There was a sort of self-government organized, and that they could overcome that fear and overcome the idea that they would be repressed if they could put these sort of like organizing principles into effect and work together to do that. Okay. Gracias. Gracias, Camila. Thank you, Camila.
Brian, quisiera, leer antes de pasar a Tania Bruguera y Julio las demandas que se leyeron esa noche.
Okay.
Las demandas que,
que
son tan legítimas para el gremio artístico como para la ciudadanía cubana.
Right. So Catherine is going to read the demands that the 27N group has asked the government for, and I'm going to read them out to you. And she wants to point out that as well, that it's not just important for the artists that were involved or the group, but for all the Cuban citizens. Okay, primero.
Los artistas intelectuales aquí presentes, como parte de la ciudadanía cubana, reclamamos el derecho a tener derechos.
Right. So the artists and intellectuals there present reclaim the right to have rights. That's the first demand.
Exigimos el cumplimiento y el ejercicio de las garantías de esos derechos.
We demand the right to carry out those rights.
derecho a la libertad de expresión,
right to freedom of expression,
derecho a la libre creación,
right to free creativity,
derecho al disenso,
the right to resist or
Dissent. Okay.
entre nuestras demandas, revisión y cumplimiento del debido proceso judicial a Denis Solís,
the adherence to the judicial process,
que se le permita al artista Luis Manuel Otero Alcántara en el hospital Fajardo,
perdón, repítamelo.
que se le permita al artista Luis Manuel Otero Alcántara regresar a su domicilio. En ese momento de la noche del 27N se encontraba en el hospital Fajardo, se le impedía regresar a su domicilio y esto fue una de las cosas que se decidió ahí también, o sea, que se demandó.
Okay, so one of the other demands was that there was one of the artists who were in the hospital that he be able to return to his home.
Cese del hostigamiento, la represión, la censura, el descrédito y la difamación por parte de las autoridades y los medios oficiales a la comunidad artística e intelectual cubana y a todo ciudadano que disienta de las políticas del Estado.
Right. So to stop
¿La
all,
puedo repetir?
no, bueno, lo voy a asumir un poco. To ask for the ceasing of all of repression, of censure, of defamation to all artists and all Cuban citizens that are have speech that may be critical of the government.
Reconocimiento y respeto al posicionamiento independiente.
Respect and understanding of an independent position, that there can be an independent position.
No más violencia policial, no más odio político, que sea el amor y la poesía lo que una a este pueblo.
No more police violence, no more policing, and that love and poetry be what unites this people.
Gracias.
Thank you. Gracias, Catherine. Okay. Bueno, ya tenemos, we understand a little bit of the history of what happened then. I'm going to ask the next question, which is, what makes this moment different than other in terms of the fight for freedom in Cuba? ¿Qué hace este momento diferente a los otros en la lucha hacia la libre expresión en Cuba? Tania, you want to answer? Estás en mute.
Yopis está, quizás pueda también participar en esta pregunta. ¿Yopis está o se cayó su conexión?
No, you can answer it, Tania, in English.
Bueno, this movement, this 27 of November movement, working group, and this moment has been extremely different from other previous situations in which, it's not the first time artists protest, it's not the first time artists demand to talk to the people who are supposed to represent them. But the difference was, first of all, that more than 300 people outside of that Ministry of Culture all together putting pressure on the system. Another difference was the support the parents of this young generation, their kids who are protesting. This is very unusual. This is a generation that has been self-censoring for decades, who have been in silence, resisting or dealing with the oppression, but completely silent or complicit. Now those people who have seen their kids without fear, wanting to fight for the rights, are supporting their kids. Many of the people who were there were the parents of these young artists who wanted to make sure that nothing happened to them. And this also is different because this is a generation that will never before recognize that something can be done by the government against its citizen with violence. So I think this also is a change of paradigm. The other thing that has been also different is that, of course, for the first time, I think, artists and citizens were in sync, meaning the artists position themselves from the privileged artist position in a citizen in front of the institution. And what they were doing was demanding to the institution to work, which is very unusual. We were not demanding, we want to close the Ministry of Culture. We demand the Ministry of Culture should protect the artist and should respond to artists' need and should not avoid anymore the responsibility in the society and the co-optation and complicity with the censorship, the repression and defamation of artists. And what was interesting is like the fact that artists position themselves as citizens made easier for citizens to understand that these are also strategies they can use for their own fight and their own disbelief or their own discomfort in the system. And actually 2 or 3 days after this event, some workers from the port, the one who take things in and out of ships, actually decided to protest and demand for the minister to be in a meeting with them as well. And after that, we are seeing more and more people demanding their rights. You know, 2 days ago, something quite fun in a way happened. Old, you know, grannies and grandpas who were in a house, you know, in a home, were actually protesting that the prices of the home and the events in the home, the activities in the home, raised so disproportionately. And they actually made the letter and made everybody to sign the letter, something that we did, something that some of the activists have done over the years. And this is quite interesting. The other thing that I feel is different is that that one of the strategies, most recurrent strategies from the Cuban government is to defame. But in this case, and part of the defamation they use automatically is accusing people to be working for the CIA or for the State Department in the United States and create this kind of like bizarre, weird, secretive life that people have who want to harm the government and the people. This time they have used the same strategy, but it's impossible to say that almost 400 or 500 people are being paid by the CIA to be in front of the Minister of Culture. So in this case, a lot of people are saying they are shooting their own feet, their foot, because they're using the same system of defamation without understanding that circumstances have changed. And now it's very easy for everyone to say, if they accuse me, which I am not CIA paid or working for any government, that means maybe this other person that I thought was paid by another government is also being defamed. So this has been interesting as well. And the other thing is that there are two other things. First of all, in 2014, when I did Yo También Exijo, the project where I called the Revolution Square with one microphone for people to say in complete freedom for 1 minute what they wanted as the future of the country, we had a similar situation in the sense that we had artists there trying to enforce freedom of expression, but the circumstances were very different because a lot of artists wanted to disengage from this situation, and they actually, some of them even cooperated with the government as a way to, you know, immediately say that this is wrong, this is not the appropriate moment, etc. Now we are living in different circumstances where those same artists who wanted to disengage politically understand that this is the only way they have now. The balance is changing. You know, before we were the few, and now the government is the few. So this is changing. And this is very, very exciting for somebody like me and some of the artists who have been for more than 20 years trying to fight for freedom of expression in Cuba. And it's very rewarding. And especially I have to say that this young generation is fearless. I'm extremely proud of this young generation that is very fearless and understand that things have to change, you know. And the last thing I will say that probably is also part of this different atmosphere is that the government have been doing different things that I think have been mistakes. At some point last year and also this year, the police have killed some citizens. And they have killed this citizen. The first one was Hansel, and he was killed through the back. So he was being shot on the back. And the other thing is these people are all Afro-descendant, as we call it here. So they are people who are Black people, who are poor people. And we are seeing more and more a discrimination against poor people, Black people, people who dissent. And I think this is now spreading so much that people feel anybody can be the next. So this is also very different. And the other thing is that regarding that, is that the government is actually becoming the biggest factory of dissidents. Because now, if something goes wrong, instead of the government recognizing what they have done wrong, maybe they didn't plan accordingly, maybe they didn't think something was going to bring these consequences, what they're doing is automatically blaming the people, right? Blaming the people for whatever is not working in society and in the government. And I think people are having enough of being blamed by something they are not guilty of, you know? So I think all of these things are a very different atmosphere than previous year.
Thank you, Tanya. Okay, let's ask a few more questions. Vamos a hacer una pregunta y después vamos a hacer las preguntas de la audiencia. We'll do a few more questions. How does the sort of activism manifest in your practice? ¿Cómo se manifiesta el activismo en su práctica como artistas? I mean, it's obvious, I think, for Tanya, but tal vez más obvio con Tanya, pero...
Camila, Junior también pueden hablar, si quieren también, como... Cami, ¿tú quieres?
Junior. Okay, Junior.
Sí.
Estoy escuchando a Camila. Primero Camila.
Okay, Camila first.
Yeah. Bueno, en mi caso, de hecho, mi trabajo como artista no tiene que ver directamente con recursos que vienen ni siquiera del performance o que tienen que ver con un activismo social. Pero bueno, como trabajo también en INTAR, en el Instituto de Artivismo Hannah Arendt, como que he entendido un poco más el contexto político cubano, ¿no? Y me he visto en posiciones ya de mayor cercanía a esos conflictos políticos, ¿no? Obviamente.
So,
y en mi caso, por ejemplo...
Yeah, wait. While my practice isn't directly related to performance or any kind of activism, I've been doing a lot of work with INSTAR, which is the Instituto, Tanya, maybe you can help me here, Nacional.
Institute of Artivism, Hannah Arendt.
Right, the Hannah Arendt Institution of Artivism. That has helped me understand how all my work is really functions within a political milieu. And I see myself as part of a larger group of people who are demanding.
Sí, pero, o sea, yo tengo como muy clara esa digamos, aunque hay gente que me puede considerar activista, pero más allá de eso, y creo que es lo que está pasando con muchas personas en Cuba, es que cada vez tomamos más conciencia de lo importante que es asumir una responsabilidad ciudadana, sobre todo en la defensa de los derechos. Y, por ejemplo, ese es mi caso, ¿no?
Okay, so as part of this artivism, I think that's the most important thing. what's sort of happening is that everyone has a sort of political conscience is growing, that they understand that they are not apart from this, and that's been the case with me as well. Junior,
Ya, sí, ya. Bueno, en mi caso, yo siempre he trabajado con instituciones que pertenecen al Estado, es decir, no había tenido un trabajo como activista político.
so all of his work had essentially been for the government at some point. It's always, his work has always been sort of for the state as part of the state theater. He's never thought of himself as an activist because of that.
Y aunque mis obras han sido muy críticas desde el principio, tanto en el teatro como en el cine, lo cierto es que en realidad nunca habían logrado censurarme. Siempre que había un intento por censurarme, había luchado hasta lograr burlar esa censura.
Right. So even though his works had been somewhat critical of government, including film and theater, he'd always managed to sort of like work against that repression and be able to say what he wanted to say, or try to say what he wanted to say.
Lo que pasa es que aunque pueda sentirme un privilegiado dentro de las instituciones por haber podido hacer mi trabajo, eso no significa que tenga que hacer silencio cuando a otros artistas sí los censuran o sí los reprimen.
Right. And even though he is privileged in the way that he might not have been repressed to such a great degree, he understands that he has to be part of a group of individuals who are and represent those that are much more repressed than him.
Y creo que esa es una idea que ahora está creciendo mucho dentro de la comunidad de artistas en Cuba. No tiene que pasarme a mí para que yo muestre públicamente mi rechazo ante la censura o que estoy a favor de la libertad creativa y de las libertades humanas en sentido general.
Right. So one of the things that's happening, one of the positive things, is that there's a sort of consciousness that even though I might not be repressed or might not be feeling that repression, that I have to fight for those who are. I mean, and that I am part of a collective, and that even though my situation might be better, I have to demand the rights for others.
Obviamente, después del 27N todo cambió, es decir, ya sí me han cortado el teléfono, he tenido a alguien en mi casa que no me deja salir, he tenido acoso por parte de oficiales que trabajan para la seguridad, o sea, todo cambió después del 27.
Right. After the event on the 27th, though, all that changed. They've cut my phone line. There's been police presence outside of my house that have not let me leave my house, and there's been constant harassment.
Y todo lo que está pasando me recuerda a una obra bueno, hay varias versiones, una obra de Ibsen, pero también hay una versión muy conocida de Miller, que es Stockman, el enemigo del pueblo.
What's happening reminds me of an Ibsen play, which is, ¿cuál es la obra?
Stockman, el enemigo del pueblo.
Stockman, the enemy of the people.
Después del 27, lo quiera o no, sí hago activismo político y de alguna manera ellos me consideran un enemigo del pueblo.
Right. So whatever happens now after the 27th of November, I am now officially considered an enemy of the state. Okay. Tanya,
Yeah.
do you want to jump in?
Sí, bueno, voy a seguir hablando en inglés, ¿no?
Yeah, English would be better for me, at least.
So basically, well, in my case, I am an artist who have been an activist for many, many years. I enter activism as the result of understanding that the repression of artists is, let's say, an aspect or is intertwined with the repression of the citizen. It's a manifestation of a larger process. I've been, as some people know in the US, I've been working not only with Cuba, but I work also with immigrant movements and so on. In my case, I think one thing that has been a little uncomfortable for the government is that I have always made clear that I am a person from the left who is criticizing this, the government, that, by the way, is not anymore, I think is not anymore socialist, but is becoming very rapidly, passing very rapidly from being a state capitalism into becoming neoliberalism, a neoliberal state. So I feel that one of the things also that has been very good in this process of the 27N is that the government has been blocked in a way, because the people who are protesting are people who define themselves not as far right, but as part of the left, and even people who work for the government institutions. So I think this is part of what I have been working on my life. I think that as an artist who is also an activist, I've been trying to look at ways in which we can talk to power and being heard, no? And also trying to see what kind of strategies can be strong enough, but at the same time new enough, that creates some curiosity instead of an automatic response. So this is also something that has been put into, I don't know, have been exercised in these demonstrations that we're talking about.
Okay. So I think, we've been a little bit longer than an hour, and I want to get to questions from the public, but I think there's one question that I'm sure many of the audience is interested in, which is, how can we who are not in Cuba, we who may not be artists, help the cause? So le voy a decir la última pregunta, también nos llega de la audiencia, también muchos están interesados, es que cómo podemos, los que no estamos en Cuba, los que no somos artistas, ayudar a la causa. ¿Cómo podemos ayudar ustedes en lo que están haciendo? Tal vez Tania puede contestar primero y después.
Bueno, I think one of the biggest things people can do outside of Cuba to support us, because this is a very disproportionate fact. We have only our bodies, and the government has all the resources. So basically, one of the things people can do is to break the narrative that the government has made for the last 62 years, that anyone who criticizes the government, anyone to demonstrate against the government, is an enemy of the state and has an ill idea or ill intention towards the people. I think we need to make sure that we break 62 years of propaganda that has been extremely successful, because people, when they even think about Cuba, they are not able to see what is happening, but they go into the immediate response that has been created by the Cuban propaganda, which is Cuba is amazing, everybody's happy, there is sun, there are beaches, and the government is amazing. We really, please ask everyone outside of Cuba to break their comfort zone regarding Cuba, to break the automatic response that has been implanted in your brain about what we are and who we are, and try to listen to our stories, try to follow what is happening, and try to have an open mind, because Cubans have the right to rebel against things they feel unfair, and Cuba have the same right everybody else has in the world to be free. And sometimes we have received people who don't even want to hear our stories because they don't want to break the bubble in which they have their head regarding Cuba. I want to add one thing. Many times, this is more anecdotal, but many times we have received friends or people who come to Cuba, and we always have a big tension when we talk to them about what happens in the country, because they don't allow Cubans to have rights that they will never accept not having themselves in their own country. And they always try to justify what is wrong in this country, that if they had the same situation in their own countries, they would never, ever give a pass on that. So I think this is a double standards that we as Cubans have, with foreign. And this has to stop, because it's not fair with the Cubans.
¿Alguien quiere añadir algo?
Sí.
Okay.
Bueno, básicamente esto que estamos haciendo hoy es una manera de ayuda. Visibilizarnos, escuchar nuestras historias, como decía Tania, estudiar y preocuparse por nuestras obras, porque básicamente hemos sido rechazados, renegados dentro de la cultura, y esto es una manera de cubrir, de salvarnos, digamos así, y esto lo ha hecho también, por supuesto, el sector independiente, ¿no? Preocuparse por toda esta producción que ha sido renegada y separada de la cultura, porque básicamente es la institución la que la que tiene el poder, ¿no? Para decidir qué se muestra o no, o qué se cuenta o no.
Okay. So Catherine is saying that events like this one that provide visibility for Cuban artists and for those outside of Cuba to listen, to study, to see Cuban art, and to not only accept those of the Cuban art that are sort of approved by the government or disseminated by government, but those that are independent, that are repressed, that may not have as much access, to look a little bit further and to really take the time to sort of like look at Cuban art and think about the issues.
Creo que es un momento muy importante para curar la cultura cubana. Creo que se ha estado haciendo durante muchos años, pero, o sea, y sobre todo en estos últimos años donde el sector independiente está creando una fuerza, ¿no? Y se está creyendo mucho más en el sector independiente. Y bueno, por supuesto, la academia en otros países y muchas personas se han interesado en el tema Cuba. Y como que digamos que se van, ¿no? del camino que le muestra la institución, y entonces van hacia los márgenes, ¿no? Y entonces descubren otras cosas, van descubriendo otras cosas de la cultura cubana, y esto es algo sumamente importante. Hay que curar la historia de la cultura cubana, y eso es un trabajo bastante grande, un trabajo que estamos haciendo todos y que tenemos por hacer ahora.
So it's a really important moment for Cuban culture because of this bifurcation between that's independent and institutionalized. And I think just one thing to clear up is that when we say independent artists in Cuba, we're saying that artists that are not supported by the government, right? Artists that aren't hired by the government. So there's an independent and there's the institutional, where the institutional sort of like the government institutions. So that this break between the institutional and the independent is becoming even more important, and that this growing movement of independent artists is really paving the way for a new canon and a new understanding of what Cuban history could be and the history of its people that's not tied to the government. Junior?
Sí. Yo tengo una máxima que es que la verdad de un país, cualquiera que sea, está mucho más cerca de la creación de sus artistas que de los discursos de sus políticos.
Right. So he has a saying that says that any, the population of any society is their desires or their identity is much closer to the words of their artists than the words of than the lectures of their politicians.
Cuando hay un conflicto en cualquier país del mundo, en Venezuela, por ejemplo, yo no me pregunto qué dice el presidente de ese país o qué dicen los grandes medios, sino qué están diciendo sus artistas, qué obras están escribiendo, qué cuadros están pintando.
Right. So when you have a place like Venezuela or somewhere else where they're experiencing repression, you know, it's important not to look at what the government might be saying or what the president might be saying or what kind of lecture they're doing, but he's looking towards the artist to see what's being painted, what's being written. That's really where you're going to find the nut of the culture, the sort of like kernel of it.
Los gobiernos autoritarios son conscientes del poder que tienen sus artistas en ese sentido y siempre usan dos grandes armas contra nosotros, que son el silencio y la mentira.
Right. So governments are aware of how much power artists have. They're very much aware, and they have two weapons at their disposal. One of which is silence, the other one is lies.
Cualquier cosa que pueda ayudar a romper el silencio y la mentira nos está ayudando.
Anything that can break the silence and anything that can promote truth is helping us. Muchas gracias. Very well put. Muchas gracias, Junior. Okay, so we've been going a little bit more than an hour and 15 minutes. I think Tanya has been answering questions in the Q&A. So a lot, and he's continuing to do so. But I think we're not going to take any more of any questions in the the ones that are in the Q&A. I think that Tanya is answering them by via text right now. But I want to thank all you guys for being here. Quiero darle las gracias a todos los que están aquí, que nos están llegando desde Cuba, y la verdad es increíble que puedan estar con nosotros. All the panelists here are speaking to us from Cuba, and we're so grateful that they're here, and they're so grateful, and we're so supportive of their cause. So tratamos de apoyar lo máximo a su casa y estamos con ustedes. We're with you guys, and we want to thank you. Muchísimas gracias. Gracias a todos. Thank you to the participants. Thank you to
Gracias a ustedes.
Gracias.
Thank you, Tanya.
Gracias.
Thank you, everyone.
Muchas gracias a
Gracias.
ustedes.